والله يدعو إلى دار السلام ويهدي من يشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. لا 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 لا
Glory be to Allah who sent Ramadan as a mercy to mankind. It's a purification of our soul, our heart and our mind. Bear with patience for the sake of our Rahman.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear HUDA TV viewers. Hello and welcome to the third of our 10 episodes in your program, Ramadan Changed Me. Tonight the topic will be introducing yourself to yourself via self-evaluation. In the first episode we introduced you to the program where we try to invest in ourselves, in our relationship with Allah, with our communities and with ourselves to try to be the best that we can be. And in yesterday's episode we talked about making the intention to change, the will for a positive change and a positive self-development. Tonight we'll be going to talk about introducing yourself to yourself and how to evaluate yourself. You can do these self-evaluation tests in your program and not only try to be the best that you can be, but also win prizes with us by going to the website e.hulul.net, e.holol.net, and do the self-evaluation pre-tests, the ongoing tests as we go throughout the 10 days of the program, and the final test after the end of the holy month of Ramadan, where you could win a prize totaling up to 20,000 Saudi riyals. That's the top prize. 40 viewers can win and 40 websites participants can win with us prizes totaling up to 80,000 riyals with e.hulul.net. You can also win with us a daily laptop by answering our daily Islamic trivia question that comes at the end of each of our shows via sending us an MSS through 002 014 327 1771. You could also talk to us via phone and participate with us here live in the program at the number 002 02 38 555 248 or 249, and you could also email us at ramadanchangedme@huda.tv. Hadiza Buhari from Nigeria was the winner of our first prize, our first daily laptop, and we have a new winner, the second winner, and it is also a sister. This time it is from Saudi Arabia. We'll be announcing her name very shortly, but first we'll remind you of yesterday's question and the correct answer for that. Yesterday's question was, what was the last battle that was led by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the field? What was the last battle led by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And the choices were the Battle of Tabuk, the Battle of Hunain, or the Battle of Yamama. And the correct answer was the number one choice, the Battle of Tabuk. And the winner is, for the second daily laptop on Ramadan Changed Me, is Susanna from Saudi Arabia. So congratulations, Sister Susanna from Saudi Arabia. You are the second winner after Hadiza Buhari from Nigeria. And brothers, try to mass up your SMSs. We have two sisters winning so far in the first 2 days. Now, the daily question will come to you at the end of the show, and maybe you can be the third winner of our daily laptop prizes, and don't forget to go to e.hulul.net for the bigger prizes. We'll be talking about self-evaluation and introducing yourself to yourself with our very special psychotherapy specialist and life coaching specialist and self-development trainer, Shaikh Ramiz Ibrahim. Hello, Shaikh Ramiz. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
And of course, with our very distinguished panel of guests here in the studio, brothers Abdullah Ariyami, who is a manager of a private school in Cairo.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah. And Mr. Amr Abdul Al, who is a student in the Faculty of Arts. and Mr. Ashir Saeed, who is a software developer.
Sorry.
Alaykum salam. And Mr. Sharif Hamdi, who is a teacher of English language. Coach, the ball is yours. Introduce yourself to yourself.
That's a reiteration of what we spoke about the last episode, and I think today we'll give a bit of an introduction with a bit more deeper content in it. The reason I called it introducing yourself to yourself is most people spend most of their time arrogantly introducing themselves to other people because of their ego. How do we know this? As a simple example. You meet someone for the first time, and then you introduce your name to them, and then they introduce their name to you. And you have a little conversation, Assalamu alaikum, and you walk away. What happens? You forget their name. Now this may be a mistake or a human error, because we forget very easily. But most of the time it's because we're too busy imposing ourselves on the person. It's my podium, you have to know about me. And this it can be a disease long term and can make you arrogant long term. And it's about not giving regard to other people, but giving yourself regard all the time. So being selfless is difficult, but being selfish is easy. Me, myself, and I, or nafsi, nafsi, as they say, me, just myself, is important. And the ego is important. It always wants to be in the forefront. It wants to be known. This is me. I want to be known. Now, how do we overcome this? We overcome this by recognizing our own self, our own weaknesses, and leaving the weaknesses of everybody else. And I only learned this 2 weeks ago, that when you point the finger at someone, you've got 3 fingers pointing at you. And that amazed me. I didn't even realize this until someone pointed it out to me. That when you're pointing to someone, you've got 3 fingers pointing at you. And that, to me, is amazing for myself, because obviously in being in self-development, I'm going to use it. So, and it's different than saying to somebody, oh, you have a problem, if they come to you. I'm talking generally, we point the finger at everybody else. And we don't point the finger, or the fingers, or notice the fingers being pointed at us.
We're always blaming others.
Blaming others. Yeah. And the thing is, for example, anger. She made me angry. He made me angry. Okay? No. You have a choice of reacting or responding. And most of us, what? We react. Because the ego, again, the nafs, doesn't like to be told anything. The same way when I mentioned that sometimes I send text messages to brothers about hadith and taqillah and fear Allah, and they get a text message back saying, what are you telling me to fear Allah for? You know, what have I done? Why don't you fear Allah yourself? Obviously, to me, alhamdulillah, I laugh at it because it's like this person's not ready yet. There's something, he's got a few issues, you know. And if we can't, and basically just say these little basic things to each other, to remember to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the way to know how much you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, do you do the things that you'll be too embarrassed to do in front of people when you're alone with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
How many of us, Shaikh Ramiz Ibrahim, really do know ourselves? I mean, if we ask you to give a speculation of a certain percentage.
I would say Allahu A'lam. But there is a lot of, أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ فَاسِقُونَ. The majority of people are they're prone to evil. And this evil comes because they're nafs. They may be, everyone is good. Everybody is good. But we're not talking about the good side. The good side we can work with. It's trying to change the side that is prone to evil.
It has degrees, isn't it?
No, nafs al-ammara to be sought, and then we have nafs al-lawama, the reproachful soul. So you would know, it is an indication of your iman, indication of your goodness, but whenever you do something wrong against your soul, okay, when you oppress your soul, that you feel bad. Nadabat tawbah, as Rasulullah said, that it's regret. Tawbah is the first thing to feel regret. If you do feel that regret immediately, or even during the sin, but you can't stop yourself, that's a good indication that you want to progress, that you can progress the mutma'inna, nafs al-mutma'inna.
And working with, trying to understand yourself and jihad with yourself is definitely very difficult, and maybe there are very important sayings by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying that al-jihad al-a'zam, or the greatest jihad, is jihad with an-nafs. So try to...
This hadith is controversial because some people say it's mawdu', some people say it's fabricated, right. Some people say it's weak.
Right.
Although we do take in its context. We do say that, yes, mujadala with the self, working with the self is a great struggle. We won't say it's the greatest, but we'll say one of the greatest. Because if you can't change yourself, you can't change the community, and you can't change the Ummah Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
This would also depend on the amount of worldly material you seek to gain, because sometimes this is the cause of showing your ego to others. Boasting about what I have or what I have achieved. I am so and so. I have this degree. Because this is what human beings, we compete. So the nafs can take control of us.
There is a saying that keeping up with the Joneses, as in the non-Muslims would say, keeping up with the Joneses. We have another saying, is keeping up with the Alis or the Muhammads, and they've got a big car, I have to have one. A bigger house, I have to have one as well. But let's come back to introducing yourself to yourself.
Before you proceed, Shaykh Ramiz, allow us to get this phone call. We have Sister Samira from the United States. Thank you for calling. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. You're on air, Sister Samira.
Assalamu alaikum, sister.
I have a question. I'm calling on behalf of my mother, and she really wants to change herself. I'll give you a little bit of background. My parents have been married for more than 40 years, and for years together, like more than 10 years, my father has completely been ignoring my mother, doesn't care for her, as if she doesn't exist. He stops talking to her for months together, and only when he meets her, he asks for forgiveness and talks to her. And every time she forgives him. But now she can't take it anymore, and she wants to ignore him now, and she wants to attain complete sabr. She's trying hard to change, but time to time my father does something to agitate her, and she loses control. She's trying hard to do sabr because she's very impatient by nature, and she wants to change for Allah's sake and attain complete sabr so she never loses control. What can she do? Jazakallah khairan.
Thank you. Jazaki khairan. Samir, did you get that, Shaykh Ramiz?
Roughly, but I could speak generally rather than specific, because every person's situation is different than the other person's. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sister. In regards to just general change and how is it the mother?
Yeah.
The mother can do is what we all can do. And this is to know this, to self-evaluate yourself. In order to self-evaluate yourself, you have to be aware of yourself. And the question was the percentage you asked. The majority of people don't know themselves. One of the exercises that most people can do is, simple exercise, is get a sheet of paper and you write on the paper all the things that you like about yourself. Or all the things that you're skillful at. Your capabilities, your abilities. Okay? 10, 20, 100, you could write 1,000. Then, and on the second sheet of paper, you write all the things that you do not like about yourself. And you have to be brutally honest. Brutally honest. Yes, I have an anger problem. In fact, no, I have a rage problem. You've got to be... So, when you're writing something down, kinesthetically, when you learn it, you look at it, rage, it stands out to you. But if you just say, I have a rage problem, in the mind, the nafs will come in and give you some defense. But when you write it down, it's blatantly in front of you.
Right.
Okay, it's in front of you. So... You write down all the things that you like about yourself, things you don't like about things, and things you wish to change about yourself on a third sheet of paper. The things you wish to change about yourself may not equate to the things you don't like about yourself yet, because you may not be ready to change those things you don't like about yourself. Because you can't, or your ego is not ready to change yet. Then you find somebody who knows you just as well. Maybe someone who knows you for 4 or 5 years, 10 years maybe, your mother, your father, and they'll be very brutally honest with you. And they write the same things about you. Things they like about you, things they wish to change about you, and things they don't like about you. And you will know, others know you better than you know yourself.
Excuse me.
Yes, brother.
What if a person has bad sides in himself, okay, and he wants to write these bad sides down in a paper, as you mentioned, but actually he cannot see the bad side which he has. I mean that he is blind to see the bad aspects that exists in himself. In this case, I think he needs someone else to judge him and to tell him that you have something bad in yourself. Okay.
This is
and that's why Shaykh Ramiz was saying that
you find somebody after you did that to yourself.
Right.
You find somebody else to do the same thing for you.
But I think we can...
So it's the intersections, Shaykh Ramiz, that will highlight
there'll be things that you can cancel
critical
out.
points.
That will be
we can only know ourselves. We can only know ourselves through others. How do you know yourself if you don't mix with others? You need to, know yourself. We're talking about an exercise. We're talking about an exercise to evaluate yourself, first of all. Write down things and be brutally honest that you like about yourselves and things you don't like about yourself and things you wish to change. But then
once you write
Shaykh
them
Ramiz,
down...
Brother Abdullah, we have to take a very short break here, but a very interesting topic raised here by Brother Abdullah, saying that you can only know yourself via others. It's definitely debatable. We'll go back and try to debate this with Shaikh Ramiz Ibrahim, our psychotherapy specialist and life coaching specialist, and our dear panel here in the plateau. Stay tuned to us. We'll be back in a very short break.
With patience for the sake of Ar-Rahman, a continuous training to strengthen our Iman.
Ramadan is the best time for the night prayer. All of us are supposed to change ourselves during the month of Ramadan because it's the best chance. Join us on Inspirations during Ramadan so that we can help each other to lift our Iman up and strengthen our hearts and get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
رمضان شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. And tajweed is a science that you cannot learn it on your own.
The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, he told us that, we're never in the extremes, that we're always between it. We're in the middle path. He told us to take this middle path. We're the nation of the middle path. Ummatan wasatan, down the middle.
Bear with patience for the sake of Ar-Rahman.
Welcome back to the second part of tonight's episode for Ramadan Changed Me, under the title Self-Evaluation via Introducing Yourself to Yourself. We were just talking about whether you can only know yourself via others, or you could know yourself via yourself with the help of the view of others. And I was saying, Shaykh Ramiz, that this could be debatable. I think that some problems that lie within ourselves, only we know it. We could have some internal problems, some internal
apparent problem.
Problems that are not apparent for everyone, but that I know about myself. So, can I only know myself via others, or is it is it something that completes each other?
It's completely comprehensive. Mm-hmm. What Brother Abdul was saying about you have to mix with people, it's like stating the obvious. We all know that we have to mix with people, and if those people are sincere to you as a friend or family, they will tell you where you're going wrong. For example, you say to your friend, "Bro, do you think I have a rage problem? Do you think I'm generous? Do you think I need to know about myself via you? Because I think I'm generous, but do you think I am? Can you confirm it?" Well, sometimes you are. And sometimes you're not. It's very vague. But we're not talking about his psychological problems,
right?
Like rage and anger and diseases of the heart. We're talking about general, just basic changes in yourself.
But the criteria here would be very relative, wouldn't it? If I ask you, do you think, Brother Ramiz, that I'm generous? You could tell me, yes, I do. And then Brother Sharif could tell me, no, I don't think so.
This point
I think it could be very relative here.
It brings a hadith.
So that's why
it brings a hadith into mind. The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, when he mentioned that a Muslim is a mirror to his brother. Now, why would he use the word mirror? What do you see in the mirror? You see yourself. So, the criteria between right and wrong is from your brothers and from the sincere Muslims, because us as human beings, we need to be told, am I doing something wrong? Are the people pleased with my actions, or am I offending people? sometimes the nafs may not be aware of right and wrong because this is what he's used to. For example, people that listen to music, they might do it secretly. The moment it becomes exposed, someone says, this is haram. He says, I didn't know this. But he might see himself as good.
But if the criteria is only via others, then if I'm living in a community that's somehow not really successful or not really going on the straight path, entre parenthèses, then I could do things that pleases them. They think I'm okay. But from inside, I know I'm not okay. So I'm saying that the thermometer should be ourselves. I mean, I'm leaving this for debate now.
Brother, let's not mix the general with the specific, okay?
Right.
We want to change ourselves specifically and generally. What you do, to judge yourself, to judge your criteria, whether you are, how your iman, your taqwa is, you have to, the first and foremost things to know about change, to evaluate yourself, is evaluate yourself as regards to your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, the things that you're embarrassed and shameful to do in front of people, do you find it easy to do when there's no people around? This is a profound question. It's very simple to evaluate yourself.
Indeed.
When you go home tonight, you're alone, see your actions. Do you do things that's pleasing to Allah only when you're with people? Or do you do it just in front of people, but at home you do something else?
فَاللَّهُ أَحَقُّ أَن تَخْشَوْا.
That's right. This thing is so
you can measure that. You can measure that.
I think
it's measurable, yes.
Yeah. Brother Asher, we haven't heard your opinion on the debate tonight.
I think people, as human beings, inherently know what thoughts they have inside, and I think people inherently know that they need to change those thoughts which are inside, which are only known to them and Allah. They know people know their own thoughts. What Brother Ramiz is talking about goes back to the previous show, is fear. I think people maybe don't want to evaluate themselves because they fear they will find that they are not as good a person as they thought they were. I mean, every Muslim sins. But yet, when we read the stories of the prophets, we see we have such a high level to achieve, and we feel that we are unworthy. We didn't reach that level yet.
Indeed.
So we're frightened to evaluate ourselves to find out, well, maybe I'm not as good as Muslim as I thought I was.
But I don't think that
so
would change.
We are sometimes fearful to evaluate ourselves.
That would not change. That would not change. If you reach a high level of iman or ihsan, it would not change. You'd always, a humble servant would always feel he's undermined in front of his Lord because
he wants to be better all the time.
Yeah, he wants to better himself. The perfection is only
what you mentioned is very important.
Example of the Prophet.
Allah subhanahu says, I created the soul and I inspired the soul to know right from wrong. So every individual, it's true. You know your problems, you know your weaknesses and strengths. What we spoke about self-evaluation is, how do we evaluate these? And you've got to bring it out. Okay, these are my weaknesses. These are my strengths. Now, I want to increase my strengths, and I want to decrease my weaknesses.
That's why our viewers must go to the website. Again, e.hulul.net.
And it's very important. And
like for example, my point was that I would start to write the list, and I know that I have certain problems in myself, and they will be at the top. But yet, when I write this list, I find this list is growing and growing and growing. I never thought this list will get so big. You see? This is what many people may fear in evaluating themselves, because they know that I have a problem in my heart, and that will be their priority. But when they delve further into themselves, they find...
Do you consider yourself a more important mirror to yourself than others?
I think inherently people, when they need to change, that change will come from within themselves, and they will know what they need to change, because we know what we are doing wrong, because we do it from our heart. We know what is wrong. When it comes to other people, as you said, are subjective. Some people may think you're generous, some people may think you're not generous.
And somebody could tell you, well, you know, Asher, you're so sincere and you're such a calm person under pressure, but within yourself, you know, you're not like that.
Exactly. This is
but you find most of the people telling you that.
Maybe the person saying that is being nice to me. Maybe he doesn't really believe that.
Asher, sincerity is what's important. Okay, ikhlas and niyyah. If you are sincere, you want to change. I don't want to talk general about if you want to change within yourself, there are certain actions you have to take. Otherwise, you're joking. You're dreaming. You just wishy-washy. And that's not what we want to talk about now. We're talking about serious change through your intention. Okay? You have to make the intention to change. We're talking about this specifically. Not, well, sometimes people will do, no. A person who wishes to change will write down everything they want about themselves. Fear will come in. Even when I do for myself, fear comes in. I want to change. Of course I do. And you guys want to change as well. But you have to be sincere with your intention. Otherwise there's no point to it. You're joking with yourself. And you're taking the mickey out of the... You're taking the mickey out of the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when He says to you that He does not change people's situation until first they change themselves.
Right. I want to get Amr's voice heard.
I think, Shaykh Ramiz, that when I'm ready to change and I write this list you mentioned, I need someone who sees me from the outside.
This is why, when you write it down, what I'm saying to you is not the cut and everything that's what you have to know yourself. This is one of my exercises that's proven correct through the students that I've been teaching. You have to evaluate yourself by getting...
skip something, you know. Someone who knows me better, he will tell me.
This is why, again, I don't know if people are getting the message. You write it down yourself, then you get others to write it about you as well. If you're sincere, if you're going to sit there and write it yourself, and then say, right, this is it, then you're going to be half cutting yourself short.
Indeed.
To be sincere, you find
like
someone else to do.
You find someone else who's very close to you.
Someone that knows you well.
That's what I said. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
And the intersections would make the base to work with.
I think it's a good thing for families to start.
Any other exercises before we go, Shaykh
Ramiz?
Because unfortunately here on Ramadan Changed, time always flies.
Yes.
Any other...
Unfortunately.
Right. Any other special advices or exercises that people can make to know themselves?
Well, there's a lot, but there's already the following episodes, inshallah. But to leave you with just one last thing about laziness. People are not lazy as men, not really, really lazy, that they have got no power in their goals. They're not setting themselves goals which are powerful enough to motivate them. You mentioned yesterday, we were speaking about
the comfort zone.
Comfort zone, and that you could be the 9-second mile at our age.
Right.
You know. Right. Well, yeah. If there was Olympics for over 40s, then the goal for us, let's do it. Obviously, the Olympics they're not suitable for our age people. So to say to yourself, I want to win the gold medal. Right. When I'm 45. Some 45-year-old people have the body and the health of 20-year-olds, and they can participate, no problem. Whether the bureaucracy of the rules and regulations set them apart, I don't know. Right. But they have to be realistic. And we're talking about smart goals, okay? Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely.
Indeed.
Specifically, and you say, I want to...
And as I understood from yourself, it is a competition with yourself anyway.
Always.
Always.
If Allah says to compete one another in good deeds, why not compete with yourself?
Right, indeid.
In doing better
we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that beautiful thought. Unfortunately, dear viewers, we always time always runs very fastly here in our episodes. Before we thank Shaykh Ramiz and our distinguished guests here in the plateau, we want to tell you about tonight's question, where you can win our daily prize, the laptop. The question is, what was the number of Muslim soldiers in the Battle of Mu'tah? You have three choices. Choice number 1, 1,000. Choice 2, 3,000. And the third choice is 7,000. So again, what was the number of Muslim soldiers in the Battle of Mu'tah? 1,000, 3,000, or 7,000. All you'll be doing is write your name, country, and the number that coincides with the correct choice. For example, Muhammad, Egypt, number 1, or Muhammad, Egypt, number 2, or Ramiz, UK, or Turkey, or Egypt, number 3. And the details are on the screen. You can send us SMS on 002 014 327 1771. The SMS again, 002 014 3271 771. Good luck to all. On behalf of you, dear HUDA TV viewers, we thank very much our psychotherapy specialist, life coaching specialist, self-development trainer, Shaikh Ramiz Ibrahim. Thank you, Shaykh Ramiz. Looking forward to see you tomorrow, inshallah. And thank you to our distinguished panel, brothers Abdullah Adiyami, Amr Abdul Al, Ashir Saeed, and Sharif Hamdi. Thank you, dear brothers. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. And looking forward to see you, dear viewers, tomorrow, same time. Until we meet again, this is Muhammad Abdurrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Glory be to Allah who sent Ramadan as a mercy to mankind. It's a purification of our soul, our heart and our mind. Bear with patience for the sake of our Rahman. A continuous training to strengthen our Iman.